Today's episode is dedicated to my daughter, Steph, who learned the art of going slow when she was serving in the United States Peace Corps a few years ago on the island nation of Vanuatu, way down in the South Pacific. As the first Peace Corps volunteer to ever serve in this little village on Vanuatu, serving as a teacher, she believed in her heart that she could make a positive difference for not only the kids, but for their families too. And she did. She also showed her mom and me that it's when you slow down, that's when you can see and hear what's right in front of you. And it's been there all along. Beautiful things that you can't see when life is moving a little too fast. So thanks for that lesson, Steph. You're very wise, and we love you very much. As for motorcycling, we've just got to slow down sometimes, now more than ever. No, I'm not warning against riding fast. I do that from time to time too. I'm referring to the speeds that our brains and emotions are built for, maybe. With this 24/7 news cycle that you're surely aware of, and constant social media updates, work stress, gosh, now we've got artificial intelligence creating more and more content out there to absorb, like YouTube videos that are clearly not narrated by a human, and much of that content is either inaccurate or at best misleading, at least from what I've seen. We can't keep going at this pace and keep our sanity. I can't. Fast all the time is not good for us. I absolutely believe that. All the research seems to point to that. We're not made for this. So when we're on our bikes, maybe we should just pick a place sometimes and just stop. Maybe we should be more conscious of that and let's just be more focused on that from time to time. Turn off the bike. Let's be quiet. Look around. That's hard, but I believe it's worth it. Let's talk about that. Thank you for joining me today. Recorded in beautiful Loveland, Colorado. Welcome to Peace, Love, Moto, the podcast for motorcyclists seeking that peaceful, easy feeling as we cruise through this life together. Are you ready? Let's go! As you know, anybody can ride fast. Beginners can ride fast. Not recommended, but they can do it. It's just a twist of the throttle and hang on for dear life, right? That's easy. Those of us who are experienced riders know very well, though, that it's slow riding. Slow is hard. And I don't mean slow by 20 miles an hour. No, I'm talking about walking speed or less, like 1 mile per hour, all without putting your feet on the ground. We don't practice that enough because probably we just don't ride slow that often, not that slow. But if you check out any motorcycling school, most will cover the art of riding slow. Yeah, it's an art. That's where you prove that you're in total control. It's everything going right. Not only your balance physically with your body, but with your clutch, the use of the clutch, the feathering of it as we call it, the light use of the brake when you need it, throttle control for sure. That's when you're really balancing, when all the pieces come together. You ever watch a police motorcade or watch them in a parade? That is professional motorcycling. Slow, completely in control, and no fast movements. You know, honestly, I don't get the attraction of burnouts. Never have. Seems like it's a huge waste of expensive tires to me. Maybe I'm just cheap. But I do like to watch slow riding contests, for example. I saw a video on YouTube of a slow riding contest recently. I think it was either at Sturgis or one of the big rallies. Those are kind of fun to watch. There are usually two techniques that you see at a slow riding contest. One technique is where the rider is just thrashing around all over the place, kicking out their legs and jerking the handlebars from side to side, trying to stay balanced. And the other, more effective one, who usually wins, it's where the rider appears to hardly move at all, just staying completely balanced somehow. Just the smallest of almost imperceptible shifts in weight, keeping that 700-pound motorcycle creeping along at less than 1 mile an hour, or even coming to a complete stop for a second or two, all without putting a foot on the ground. Now that's amazing. That's talent. That's an experienced motorcycle rider. I mentioned in the previous episode how I recently rode about 300 miles one day, just wandering about in the Northwest. I felt like I needed to do that, and I stopped by an abbey and talked with a nun and 2 priests out there. Those folks certainly know the art of slowing down. That's what they're all about. That's what it takes for prayer, in a lot of cases maybe. But pardon me if I shift to golf. So, yeah, I've had a lot of coffee. But I'm not a great golfer by any means, but I'm not that bad because I've kind of learned a few things along the way. My goal with golf, number 1, is to look good. I want to try to look good and not look too bad out there. I want to look like I know what I'm doing. And most importantly, to be able to find my ball, hopefully in the fairway somewhere. If I can find it and look good along the way, that's all I care about. Yeah, that's a low bar to aspire to, but that's where I'm at over the years. If I do anything right, I've learned over the years to slow down, the swing, thought patterns, everything. Even play with a relatively loose grip on the club. That works for me, anyway. Not to try to powder the ball like the professionals can do. I can't do that with any control at all. Trying to smash the ball down the fairway for most of us amateurs almost always turns into a hook or a slice. Now, for those of you who don't play golf, that means when you strike the ball wrong, you make it spin in such a way that it either curves hard to the right or hard to the left. And essentially, it's not going where you want it to go. So, no, it's the cool, calm, relaxed, smooth swing that sends the ball the farthest usually, and the straightest in most cases, at least for most of us amateurs. You're typically not effective through strength and power alone, and certainly hyperventilating gets you nowhere in golf. It's all about calm, and it's all about smooth. And most importantly to me, it's also that calmness that helps me to cope when I realize that yes, once again, I've hit my ball into the lake. I read a quote recently. Seems to fit here. Slow down and enjoy your life. It's not only the scenery you miss by going too fast, you also miss the sense of where you're going and why. That's pretty good. So maybe in motorcycling it's the same idea. Yeah, it's a thrill to go fast. I get that. I like that too sometimes. But I'd argue that once you've discovered the joy of slowing down and stopping just to look around, you probably start doing that more often. I know I do. On that long ride I described in the latest episode that I did last weekend, I didn't mention, but I stopped in the middle of nowhere, about midway on that ride. It was a really, really small road, and I think it was about 30 miles west of Wheatland, Wyoming, my turnaround point. Nothing out there but slow, twisting roads, mild hills, small canyons, wide open vistas here and there. Not a lot. Maybe a farm here and there, too. I saw someone on a tractor, as I recall. At some point on the road, though, I stopped to get off the bike. I took off my helmet, and I did nothing but just look and listen, stopping to experience just really nothing and maybe everything at the same time. Quiet, solitude, peace. I love that. Look up for yourself all the details about ways to ride really, really slow on a motorcycle without putting your foot down. And one of the tips that you're very likely to see is to keep your head and your eyes up in the direction that you want to go. Sounds like there's some parallels with life there too. So, whenever you can, let your motorcycle take you to a quiet, empty place. Maybe stop all by yourself just to look around somewhere, to hear the wind, to watch a bird soar or a deer graze. Eyes up with your head, your mind, and your heart virtually pointing in the direction that you'd like to be taken to. And if you're lucky, you may just find that peace of mind that everyone keeps looking for. So thank you so much for listening to this first episode of 2024. I wish you peace, and I wish you love.